Hey, Daryl here, and this is my daily devotional. God gave Moses specific instructions regarding the construction of the traveling tabernacle, the tent of meeting. And it wasn't shabby when you consider all the gold and the silver and the craftsmanship and the fine linens that went into this. This is not a shabby tent. He gave instructions for the tabernacle. He gave instructions for the ark that would hold the covenant. He had instructions for the table, the lampstand, the altar of incense. Listen to the tally. There was an accounting by the Levites, and the Levites were like the priests, the ministers, you might say. It says in Exodus 38 at verse 21, "These are the amounts of the materials used for the tabernacle of the testimony, which were recorded by Moses, commanded by the Levites." Here we go. The total amount of gold from the wave offering used for all the work on the sanctuary was 29 talents and 730 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. The silver obtained from those of the community who were counted in the census was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. 1 bekah per person, that is half a shekel, according to the sanctuary shekel, from everyone who had crossed over to those counted 20 years old or more, a total of 603,550 men. So over 600,000 men who left in the Exodus from Egypt. And it goes on and gives some more details in the accounting of the materials. And it means little to us because we don't think in terms of shekels and bekah and all these terms. So I went to the internet and I found a site that actually calculated what these would mean in modern day dollars. So it's really quite interesting. As we look at this, we see here that the total amount of gold and silver and copper would be approximately $52 million in today's dollars, understanding the amounts and, of course, making them into modern day amounts. And when you talk about all the labor and the linen and everything else that was used, it gave us a total of $57 million for this traveling tabernacle, the tent of meeting. Now, the question arises in my mind. These were folks that were slaves. They lived as slaves in Egypt. Where do slaves come up with this much offering? Well, God always has a plan. Before there's a need, He already knows the provision for that need. And if we go back to Exodus chapter 12, we see that at the conclusion of the plagues, where God finally brings the final plague, the death of the firstborn, and Pharaoh is saying, "Get out of town, leave us now." I want to read, it says, Pharaoh said to Moses and Aaron, "Up, leave my people, you and the Israelites go." So, it says in verse 35, the Israelites did as Moses instructed and asked the Egyptians, here we go, for articles of silver and gold and for clothing. The Lord had made the Egyptians favorably disposed toward the people, and they gave them what they asked for, so they plundered the Egyptians. Here we go. God makes the provision before the need arises, because He already made the Egyptians favorably disposed. It says the Lord made the Egyptians favorably disposed towards the people, and they gave them all this gold, all this silver, all this fine linen, and they have been toting this around with them in the wilderness as they're traveling in the direction of the promised land. And now God says, I've got a use for all that gold and silver. We're going to build a traveling tent of meeting, the tabernacle, so it can be worthy of my presence. God has a way of making the provisions before the need arises. God bless you. Good day.